Friends, at the outset, before I get into the presentation, I'd like to share a couple of things with you. One, what you're going to see in the next 15-20 minutes is just simply what we are doing in an educational technology project supported by USAID and implemented by the Education Development Center. It's just what we do, our experiences, our learnings, and I hope the august audience here will enjoy what we have to share with you. It's just about little things that children enjoy, that they identify with, that they get excited about and motivated with, and seem to learn better with the way we do it. Second, in our minds and in our world, education technology definitely goes beyond computers, computer literacy, or computer-assisted learning. So you will see during the course of the presentation that we are using multiple technologies in our project. Third, for details about the project, the presentation captures it very briefly, but for details about the project, I guess the organizers plan to put a detailed paper that we've written into the conference report, I guess. That's where you'll get a more detailed description of the project. And at this point, I have to thank my colleagues from EDC for supporting me wholeheartedly in writing that paper. Douglas Bell here, who you see, and the one name that I must mention very, very specially is Amitabh Dabla. He's sitting there quietly in one corner, very demure and shy, but he contributes a great deal, and I am grateful to him for his contribution. Let me get on with the presentation now. Doug. Right. The program, as I said, is implemented by Education Development Center and supported by USAID. EDC is an agency based in America. They work worldwide. Today, they are perhaps working in over 40 countries. They've been, their USP is education technology, and they've been working for over 4 decades in that area, very successfully in several countries. USAID is a bilateral agency. It works in the development sector in various sectors, agriculture, energy, enterprise, education is one of them. And in the education portfolio, our flagship program is technology tools for teaching and training, which you're going to hear about. We call it T4 for short. Next. The objective of the program is really to enliven the classrooms, to excite children and teachers about the teaching learning process. You will agree that in most Indian government school classrooms, the environment is drab and boring. So that's what we are trying to reverse through this project. And we do it through effective use of technology, especially the radio. Radio is the one that we are using that has the largest outreach in our work. We provide intensive training and support to teachers, and we try and build up the capacity of the entire education system through the work. Thanks. Why technology? Again, as I said, this August gathering doesn't need to know that, but still, what we do try to do is through the use of technology, we are able to do some innovation at some scale. So, technology is something that supports us in doing quality work at scale. That's the way I look at it. And as I said, the sheer introduction of an educational technology into the classroom brings in a lot of excitement among both students and teachers. Next. Here are some of the unique features of our program. We partner with the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan in all the states that we work in. The idea is that we want to be able to work at scale. We want to reach out to every child who's in those schools. And we want to be able to sustain this. We may not be there forever, but Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, the government, the state governments, education departments are going to be there and carry this work forward. So we always work through them. We use multiple technologies, as I said, radio, television, computers, satellite communications for teacher training, and so on. All our programs are addressed at the dual audience. They address the needs of teachers as well as those of students. The pedagogy is enjoyable, child-centered. The one very important aspect of our work is that the technology is not there to replace the teacher. It's simply there to provide another tool to the teacher. It's simply there to support and complement the teacher. We offer intensive training and things like teacher guides, which support the teacher even after the program is over. She can always refer to the guide during the program, before the program, after the program. And then there are programs like Hello Teacher, which are a weekly or a monthly broadcast where teachers, it's done through video conferencing, where teachers can come back and ask questions and the experts answer them. The programs, needless to say, foster a lot of interactivity in the classroom. There's a lot of peer-to-peer consultation and learning, and the program all the programs ensure equity and inclusion in the classroom. They reach out to every child in the classroom. Again, the programs make sure that the lessons are complemented with local games, local activities, things that kids and teachers can identify with. Next. Okay, the slide, maybe we'll run through it very quickly. This slide talks about when we started in 2003, 2004, we were just in about under 1,000 schools, somewhere between 900 and 1,000 schools in 3 states, about 300 each, and we could reach 85,000 kids. And all costs were borne by the project at that stage. Today we are in 4 states. We are reaching over 200,000 schools and 13 million plus children. And we are about to start in Bihar very shortly. That will add a couple of million kids and a few thousand schools to this number. What are some of the costs that are shared by the states, and I mean the state governments? They provide radio sets to all the schools. They contribute the broadcast fee across the state. They contribute towards training of teachers. In some states, the teachers' guides, the costs have been picked up by the state government. Recently, even the cost of production of programs in some states has been picked up by the state government. Okay, now what is T4 all about and what are our interventions? There are 4 types of interventions really, and actually 3, and the 4th is a repository of them all. We do interactive radio instruction, and you'll know more about why is it called interactive radio instruction as we move into it. Educational video, and a 3rd thing which we call as GTL software, the group teaching and learning software. So as you can see, the first is done through radio, the 2nd through television, and the 3rd through computers. And the 4th one is a digital library, which is a repository of all of these educational materials, plus many more from several other organizations, like the Azim Premji Foundation, Microsoft, CII, Shiksha, DSCRT in Karnataka, and many others. Next. The interactive radio instruction program first. You all know what are the advantages of radio, but I'll quickly run through them. The radio allows us to really reach far and wide. It's easily available. It's low cost, very affordable. We often hear of the resource constraints that are faced by state governments. Radio is really the cheapest technology available to us. It's not dependent on electricity. A lot of schools don't have electricity. These radios that we use are battery operated, so that problem is also eliminated. And again, as I said, they are fun for children. They allow you to move away from the monotony of the textbook, the blackboard, the chalk and talk method that we hear about so often. What are the unique features of IRI? I mean, radio is one thing, but we can have a lot of passive listening programs, and the children are not interested in that, nor are the teachers. The IRI allows for a lot of interactivity. So, and what do we mean by interactive? We are not saying that the radio says something, the children are able to ask questions to the radio and the radio answers that. No. How does it introduce? It introduces a lot of interactivity within the classroom. The programs, the modules are so designed that they introduce a lot of interactivity between the teacher and the students, among students. And what you will see, therefore, in an IRI classroom is that the students and teachers are constantly engaged in something. They're doing something, as against a normal, dreary, drab, boring classroom.